Hello there, welcome back to my channel. For this video, let's configure a FrSky SR10 Plus receiver to a Canards and Elevons plane. In our case, the JAS-39 Gripen. And also with vector thrust, adding 2 additional channels. Right, so first as a preliminary check here, as of this video, my radio and receiver firmware are as follows. So hit setting and go to info here. Okay, and I have 1.49 and the receiver is 1.08 here. Okay, so please check yours and update if needed. And you can refer to this video I inserted here if need to be done. And also I have the latest Lua script here. Okay. So right, then let's have a closer look here. So here are the servo channel wires. Here we have 2 ailerons channel, 2 canards, channel left and the right, and 1 landing gear, 1 throttle, 1 for rudder. So that's a total of 7 channel needed. And of course, an additional 2 more channel for the vector thrust, horizontal and a vertical right here. And I will use this brand new FrSky SR10 Plus receiver with stabilizer, and I'm gonna put it right here with the pin backward and antenna pointing to the front. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is create a model file. So I'm gonna add a new one, airplane, next, 1 engine. Let's make it 1 channel aileron, no flap, a traditional tail, 1 channel elevator, 1 rudder, and I'm going to name it JAS-39 as my model plane, and here we have it. So if you go to the mixer, we have AETR. That's what we need to do. So the next step is we need to go RF system and register this receiver. So I'm going to hit register here. You need to press that button on the receiver, plug in the power, the register appear, click that and hit registration OK. And now we are registered. So the next step is to bind. So binding, just unplug the power and plug back to the receiver and waiting for receiver, select the receiver and we are bind OK. So that's the first step. So let's calibrate. Hit setting here and scroll and hit the stable and make sure it's turned on stabilizing right here. So now hit the calibration and place the receiver with pin to the right, hit enter. Okay, good. Place it upside down, pin to the right, hit enter. Okay, pin vertical up, hit enter, and put the pin down, vertical down, hit enter. Okay, that's good. Now place it on sideways with pin to the right, hit enter, and now pin to the left and hit enter, and we are done with calibration. It's finished. Okay, so let's so before doing step 3 here, let's note here, if you are not planning to use S-bus in for channel 1 for redundancy receiver backup like me, you can skip this step 3 and step 8 later on, because your AETR and so on will be mapping beginning at pin 1 and upward. But for my case, I will be using S-bus in for pin 1, so I will need to do step 3 here and step 8 later on to remap AETR starting at pin 2. Okay, so I hope that is clear. So here, let's do some pin and channel mapping here. Let's go to RF system and go down to RX1. And here we are RX1 and hit the set and option here. So for our case, the SR10 Plus is a 10 channel receiver, and because I want to use pin 1 for S-bus in for redundancy of another 900 receiver, so I will need to remap and map everything down 1 pin. So pin 5 to rudder now, pin 4 to throttle, and pin 3 to elevator, and pin 2 to aileron, and of course pin 1 I want to say for the S-bus in. Okay. So then the mapping looks like this now with AETR moving down 1 pin each, and pin 1 is assigned to S-bus in, as you can see. And for canards and gears and vector thrust mapping, we will deal with that later. So on this next step, let's add in some mixer here. So hit mixer here, and let's add a new mix here, free mix, and we're gonna put it at last position, and we're gonna name it gain. Okay, and then we're gonna put the source as this pot here. I'm gonna turn on the gain using this pot here. Okay, so let's add a new curve also. Okay, and add a curve here, and we're gonna name it the gain curve. Okay, so type in the gain here, and the type is a custom. Okay, and we want to select only 2 points here, so change it to 2 point, and we want to change this 0.2 to 100. So it's always minus 100 to 100, as you can see right here. Okay, so you can adjust it like that. Okay, and the output for this channel, let's assign to channel 13. Okay, so now we have channel 13 as a gain. So add another free mix here, add to the last position, and let's add the mode switch. Okay, so the source, I'm going to use this switch down here. You can use whatever switch you want, but I'm going to use that. And let's go down and the output and assign it to channel 14. Okay, and then add another free mix, emergency. Okay, type in emergency. Okay, and I'm gonna edit this, and I'm gonna use this switch up here. Okay, SC, and assign it to output channel 16. That's where it should be. Okay, then with this gain mode added, we can move to the next step to configure the stabilizer on our plane. So with the transmitter turned on and our receiver plugged in into AETR to pin 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and pin 1 is reserved for S-bus, as we talked about before, as you can see. Now note here the normal surface, meaning the manual mode, no auto level mode. The first surface is behaving incorrectly, and that is okay because we need to configure the stabilizer first to behave correctly. Then later go back and configure the normal flying mode. So let's configure the stabilizer here. Let's hit setting here and hit the stable here. Open this and make sure the stabilizer is on. Let's do self check first, enable the self check. And let's look at the receiver and wait till the receiver start flickering. Then you maneuver the stick to the max position. Same thing as the rudder here to the max. Okay. And then after you do that, wait till the blue light stops flickering. Then it's done. Now let's go back here and self check is done. So let's go to wing type and make sure you select Delta here. And the mounting type is horizontal, which I had. And now we need to check the aileron elevator direction. Okay, so make sure the switch is to auto level mode, which I had. And if I move the receiver up, the elevon goes down, which is correct, right? If I move the plane, the receiver to the left, the aileron behaves correctly. To the right, it's correctly behaved. So that's what you need to do to verify the movement of the stabilizer mode is correctly in here. And mine happened to be normal, everything okay. But if it's not, you need to invert it here to check right here. That's the step that we need to do. And it's good so far for me right here. And another thing we need to configure here in this menu is the channel 5. Select the aux1 and channel 6 for aux2 so that we can configure the landing gear and the canal later on. And also in this menu, we can check our pot 1 gain here, as you can turn that up and move the receiver up and down sideways to see the sensitivity of it. Okay, so move up, that's good. Now let's check the rudder. Okay, so if I yaw it to the left or right, the rudder reacts correctly, so that's good. Okay, so depend on that part. So I switched that mode now to stabilizer mode, and it's still working correctly. And into manual, nothing happened. So all the mode looking good. So now let's configure our manual mode. Go to output here, okay, and turn the right and left aileron. Make sure it's in manual mode, of course. The mode switch we configured before, set it to manual. Turn right here and it's reverse. See, you can tell. So I'm going to go to output aileron and hit inverted here. And now aileron to the right is correct. To the left is up. Okay, let's check the elevator also going up, going down, both aileron going down. So that looks good to us. Rudder, same thing, to the right, and stick to the left, and it's to the left. So that looks good in the regular mode. Now let's go on and configure gear, canard, and vector thrust. So add a mixer here. So a free mix, add a new free mix and add it to after rudder. And I'm going to name it gear here, GAR. Okay, and I'm going to the switch button. I'm going to use this button, SF. You can select whatever you like. I'm going to use SF. And finally, for the output here, assign it to channel 5. Now let's add the mix for the canard. Let's add it after the gear here. It's pretty tricky here. What we want is to mix each canard with the aileron or elevator and to the other canard. So let's add the right canard here. Okay, and the source will be channel 1 aileron because we want to mix to that. So let's select channel 1 aileron. And for the output here, we want 2 channel count output, and that is channel 6 and 7, which is this canard and the other canard also. Those are the 3 things we want to mix. So select channel 6 and channel 7. Okay, so this is what it looks like in the mix menu. Right canard, channel 1 aileron, and 6, 7. So let's add the other one behind the right canard. So which is the left canard. We'll name it L canard. And the same thing here, the source will be channel 2 elevator. And we'll be mixing with 2 channel output, which is the 6 and 7 channel. Right canard and the left canard. Okay, so now that's what it looks like. Now we want to add a free mix after the canard, and we want to do the vector thrust. So let's add vector thrust here, VT, let's call it VT underscore horizontal for the horizontal vector. Okay, and the active condition, the source here, I'm gonna put this button here to activate it. Basically, switch SB here. Okay, and the source here is we're gonna select the channel 8 here. Okay, so that's that. So right after the L canard is vector horizontal. So do the same thing for the vector thrust for vertical. Okay, vector thrust vertical underscore. Okay, and then the source will be the same switch that I select already, SB, and the output will be to channel 9 here. Okay, so that's what we have right here. Left canard, right canard, vector thrust, horizontal and vertical. So before doing step 8, please note that if you are not planning to use SBusIn for channel 1 for redundancy, you don't need to do the channel 1 remapping here in step 8 and step 3 previously mentioned. And also physically your server wire will not look like what I had it like here, plugging in from pin 2 to pin 10. For my case, I will be using SBusIn for channel 1 for redundancy receiver. That's why I don't have pin 1 plugged into anything for now. And my server wire, AETR, and so on are plugged into pin 2 to pin 10. So if you are not using SBusIn for channel 1, then your AETR and so on will be plugged in beginning at pin 1 to pin 9. So then if you are planning to do SBusIn for pin 1 like me, then continue here in step 8, and here it is. The list mapping of the channel and its pin. See, all AETR, and it's mapping to pin. Channel 4 to rudder to pin 5, all the way to pin 10 as the vector thrust vertical, and we had gain, mode, and emergency here. Okay, so the right column is channel and the left is the pin placement. Okay. And onto our radio, let's go to RF system and do some and select RX10 and set here option, and we want to do remapping, some housekeeping here, make sure everything's correct. Okay, so let's take a look. As you remember, see, we need to move everything down. Channel 10 is the vertical, 9 is the horizontal, and 8 is a 7 canard, and 7 is a 6 canard. So we just want to make sure everything is in line, just like the note I just wrote before. And of course, with pin 1 is to S-bus in. Okay, so make sure everything is correct here. We move everything down. Okay, so let's take a look here. This is what it looks like. Yeah, the channel 6 and 7 here look kind of weird here. It's set both right canard, but it's okay. We can fix that name in the output menu later on. Okay, so make sure everything looks like this. The mixer, okay. Okay, then let's check it again here. Okay, it's still, yeah, 6 and 7 still have the right canard, which is not correct. So what we can do is just go to the mixer menu here, output menu here, and for channel 6, make sure it's right canard, which is correct. Okay, this is the right canard. Okay. Okay, and make sure rename the channel 7 to left canard. So let's change that. Okay, to left canard, and I think that will fix it. So if you go back here, everything is okay here. RF system. Okay, set option here, and that is correct right now. 6 and 7 is correctly named. Okay, that would be great. Now then, let's check the surface of the canard. Okay, so if we roll right, okay, roll left, looks good. The canard is pointing correct. Okay, turn left, left aileron is up, canard is correctly in correct orientation. So let's check the aileron going down here, going down. Aileron is down, but this is reversed, so we need to reverse here. So go to the channel, we can go to the mixer here. It seems like the left channel is incorrectly, left canard. Edit the left canard here, and okay, edit the left canard and scroll down here as the output and reverse this. And check it again, so going down, aileron go down, and both canards acting correctly. And up, same thing. Great. Okay, now check the gear. Okay, I had in that switch position, let's bring down the gear, bring up the gear, and bring down the gear. It's working. So now let's take a look at the mixer for the vector thrust. So go to vector thrust horizontal, and we need to correct this. Okay, the active condition is the switch here. I choose SB. Okay, the source should be a channel for arcade, the rudder for horizontal. Okay, so active condition is to turn and activate the vector thrust or not. So I'm going to select SB here. Okay, so the output is correct. Okay, so same thing as the vertical here. The active condition switch to this switch here. Okay, and the source should be the elevator. Okay, and then the output is the same, VT channel 9. Okay, so that's good. See, so on and off here to activate. Okay, so let's test the horizontal vector thrust, and it's not, it's opposite direction. So just go to mixer here, and let's move down to vector thrust horizontal, edit it, and just scroll down, and then just reverse the channel and check it again to the right, and the nozzle and rudder point both to the right direction. Same thing to the left. That's great. So check the elevon now. So elevon is opposite also. So just edit the same thing on the vertical, edit it, and reverse the channel here, and you move down, the nozzle down, up, down. Looks good. Okay. So let's verify everything here to make sure everything works. Okay, here we are at the transmitter. Okay, let's test. Okay, roll right. Elevon correctly. Canard is acting correctly. Okay, looks good. All right. Roll left. Left elevon is up. Canard is acting correctly. That looks good. And now let's go down. Elevon is going down, and canard is down. Great. Now let's pull up, and elevon is up, and canard same thing. Okay, and vector thrust is correctly positioned. Okay, so see, you can tell, all right? So let's check the rudder now with vector thrust to the right here, and the vector thrust point correctly. Same thing. Yep, to the left, and the nozzle is point correctly. Okay, so that's great. So then everything looks gravy to me. So in summary, congrats if you made it this far to the video. You now know how to configure an Elevon canard plane using a FrSky receiver. Remember, you would need 9 channel or more if you use vector thrust, otherwise 7 channel would do. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you find it helpful, please share to others and help subscribe, comment, ring the notify bell to support my channel. Really appreciate it, guys. Happy flying, or I should say happy alpha flying. Take care.